What's up, guys? This is Hitchy Good, your favorite all-American freedom-loving gamer, and today we're going to be diving into what I believe is severely lacking in the modern Call of Duty campaigns, including the latest Modern Warfare 2. Simply put, Call of Duty needs better villains. While the latest campaign was a really solid playthrough, honestly, likewise with the 2019 campaign, I really enjoyed that one, there was just something lacking from truly making them great installments of the entire series to bolstering them to legendary status. But before we dive in, don't forget to like this video as it truly helps us with the algorithm and push us forward to grow faster. And if you do subscribe, leave a comment below letting me know who you are, and so I can personally thank you. But other than that, back to the video. So, one thing I found when playing through some of the latest Modern Warfare campaigns is that while I feel connected with the heroes of our journey quite well, like I really honestly believe that Price is a badass, that Ghost is cold and calculating, and that Soap is capable and competent, I feel more like I'm playing to further the hero's character arc than stopping the bad guy. And the reason is this: Modern Warfare allocates far more time to developing the player's character and the accomplices than they do fleshing out the motivations and stories of the villain. Because the villains are weaker, the game can be weaker. There's much less immersion and perspective when we don't get to see what the bad guy is thinking, and even better, why he's thinking it. Unfortunately, in the newest installment, we're dividing our attention and game time 4 different ways in Modern Warfare 2. In MW2, the focus on the bad guys was split up between Shepard, Philip Graves, Valeria, and Hassan. That's 4 different villains we're concentrating on. Once again, they could have cut down these the number of these villains to just a few, maybe 2, 3 at the max, and spent so much more time on each one. When first playing the game, there was some wonder of what are they going to do with Shepard? Is he going to be a bad guy? Is he going to be okay? What's up? But within just a few levels, it's very easy to pin down exactly what's going on, as he was so transparent in his will to cover his own ass, safety of others be damned. And the same goes for Modern Warfare 2019. The fact that Modern Warfare also introduces several baddies to fight against every game doesn't really help either. In Modern Warfare 2019, instead of focusing on 1 or 2 enemies, our attention in game is divided between Omar Suleiman, the Wolf, Jamal Rahar, or the Butcher, Farah's brother, Hadir, even if it was just for a short time that he was kind of a bad guy, and ultimately General Barkov. Even though Omar Suleiman was the leader of an enormous terrorist network group, Al-Qatala, I really don't find anything very memorable about him. The same goes for Jamal Rahar. He was just a crony that really existed to further the character arc of Gaz, as Gaz was learning just how brutal taking the gloves off could be, which admittedly was a good arc. And the biggest reason I remember Hadir was because of his close relationship with the #1 female hero of the group. So a lot of it is focused back towards the heroes, even with the stories of the villains. The big bad here was General Barkov, and his entire character could be summed up in just about one sentence: a brutal dictator that despised terror cells so badly he'd much rather just arbitrarily gas thousands of his own people in an attempt to take them out. There's not a whole lot left to that story. However, if we had kept a much larger focus on Barkov and cut 2 of those villains out of the story, the moments of stabbing him like a pincushion and watching him fall out the back of that helo at the end of the game would have been so much more satisfying. But Hitch, the original Modern Warfare had multiple bad guys too. Yes, I know, I understand that. However, just look back at how much dialogue the early version of General Shepard had versus Modern Warfare 2 2022 Shepard has. The 2009 Shepard was a much more complex character because he didn't always just say what he meant. In order to beat around the bush in such a way, it takes a lot more exposition. Shepard's own pride and selfishness was wrapped and concealed behind a false virtue of patriotism and American exceptionalism, which, of course, I believe in for sure, but was obviously a ploy here in the case of Shepard. We got to hear these articulate, rousing speeches from him from the very start of the game right up until his betrayal. And even afterwards, you hear more of the reasons of why he's trying to kill you at the very end. There's a far greater focus on Shepard in the original than the modern trilogy. There were layers to his character that were peeled back the further you made it into the game. The 2022 Shepard, however, is pretty much face value the same guy you experienced from the first level all the way through the game. He's nervous, he's scared of getting caught, and he's using his authority to bluster his way through it, and that's about it. There's no character arc, and hopefully there will be in Modern Warfare 3. I do understand I might be speaking a little bit preemptively here, but I do want to make the point that for Modern Warfare 3, we need more focus on the villains. My main point is, Infinity Ward did such a fantastic job at fleshing out the heroes of this series that they seemingly forgot about the equally important aspect of the villains. And if you're going to put such effort in discovering the heroes' perspectives, it's going to take away from the others. So if you really want strong heroes like they have now, you're either going to have to make a much longer campaign to have time to develop the villains of the stories, or you're going to have to cut back on the number of villains so you can have at least one or two strong villains for our people to go to war with. This also doesn't help that they threw every OG character back into the fray while adding new heroes to the mix as well. Not that I don't want to see all the OG characters, and not that Alejandro isn't a pretty decently strong character that they've introduced. There has to be some adjustment to where you place time and focus across the board. Take arguably the most popular villain in the entire COD series, I think, from Black Ops 2, Raul Menendez. Why was he such a strong villain? Even though, in my estimation, it seems a little bit odd to me for him to have such an attachment to his sister, whatever. It was spelled out as about as much as they possibly could. The opening scenes of the campaign were specifically building the narrative of the villain and why the villain would act in the manner that he would later on. You even got to play as Menendez for a level plowing through tons of enemies with a shotgun with an endless ammo supply. It may have been over the top, but it ended up showing more about the villain in Black Ops 2 than they did the villains in Modern Warfare 2, all of them put together. And then you get to sit down with Menendez, you get to talk with him later in the game, and he explains his quest for vengeance in detail to you, and why. Even though you know he's insane, there's a reason behind the chaos that at least makes sense to himself. No such care or focus has been taken with the current villains in today's modern trilogy. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, Modern Warfare 2 in this past year is a real solid playthrough. It's fun, and they do a great job with the good guy characters, and this is more of a critique of mine that has to do with maybe not the omittance of things, but more, or that they need to change a lot around. It's more just so the balance of how things are going to work out. But I think it's what would take the series into that legendary status of COD campaigns that we know, that we remembered from the old days. And of course, let me know what you think in the comments below. I could be looking at this just through the eyes of nostalgia because I've recently played some of the older games, and they really are fantastic. They really do hold up. Is it just nostalgia that's holding my perspective back, or our perspective, or what do you think this particular series needs to push it into the legendary status that we enjoyed from yesteryear? Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Once again, like, comment, and subscribe. If you do subscribe, leave a comment below letting me know so I can personally thank you. But other than that, God bless, happy gaming, get you good out.